Papazian.
Can you hear loud that?
At San Jose State University,
we discover who we want to be. For ourselves,
for our families,
for our communities.
Different and unexpected.
Begin here.
At the heart of a transforming valley, in a city that is tough and beautiful.
We are Spartans.
The U.S. is setting new records with the coronavirus.
We cannot afford to debate this issue any longer.
It's just not safe.
We need to hang on, double down, do the kind of
As COVID-19 infections continue to rise across the country.
Every minute of my life right now is devoted to trying to end this pandemic.
Have nearly doubled since
Today there is reason to hope. Dr. Anthony Fauci says the cavalry is coming.
And I want to thank you for being everything that we want a doctor to be, especially in these difficult circumstances. Every doctor knows that sometimes the best approach to treating a patient involves telling them something that they don't want to hear. Now, this has always got to be a difficult conversation, but even more so when you're dealing with an entire country, you're dealing with a new and deadly illness and a population that's shocked and confused about the best way to fight that illness.
I think we're facing a whole lot of trouble.
You've had to be the bearer of bad news to more people than possibly anyone in human history, but you stayed the course. You've given it to us straight, regardless of the potential backlash. So for everything you've done, thank you.
The COVID-19 pandemic has been a very hard situation for us as a society. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of tension on what to do. But one constant has always been Dr. Anthony Fauci.
My husband and I have 2 children. They're twins and they're seniors in college. Before we sent them off to school this year, we of course had a discussion with them, giving them advice. And the most important advice we gave them this year comes from you, Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci, when you eat in a restaurant, we'll eat in a restaurant. When you fly in an airplane, we'll fly in an airplane. When you get the COVID vaccine, we will get the COVID vaccine.
Dr. Fauci, thank you so much for everything you do for the well-being and the health of every single person that lives in the United States of North America. Muito obrigado, Dr. Fauci. Muito obrigado. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much.
Congratulations on receiving this year's prestigious Hearst Award from the San Jose State University School of Journalism and Mass Media. I can't think of a more deserving professional to receive this year's honor. You have literally guided our country, as you have for many, many decades of national service with the National Institutes of Health, through an unprecedented crisis. And in particular, you provided sound counsel to companies such as ours and to businesses across the private sector to help keep our people safe and our operations running. And for that, I will always be grateful.
I trust him because he evidently cares about the people of America. He has steered the country out of many health crises in the past. He is calm and unfazed from all the cacophony that surrounds us today. When he speaks, we listen in. He has displayed tremendous work ethic while serving under 6 US presidents. His work is a testament to his lifelong dedication to public service. Thank you, Dr. Fauci, for all that you do to save lives.
Hi, I'm Dan Ashley from ABC 7 News, and I want to say hello to all of you at the San Jose State University School of Journalism and Mass Communications, and a special hello and greeting to my dear friend for many years, Bob Rucker. I'm delighted to be able to participate in recognizing Dr. Anthony Fauci, who has done such a remarkable job during this pandemic for every American. He's held the post of director of the Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease for decades. Since 1984, he served 6 presidents. And over the years, we have come to rely on him for honest scientific information, always putting public health at the heart and center of every single thing he does. So I am thrilled that he is being honored by San Jose State University with the Hearst Award. I can't think of anyone more deserving for all he has done over the decades, and particularly the last 7 months during this pandemic.
Dr. Fauci, you are the one voice of consistency during this whole pandemic. I'm an emergency physician, recently retired after 43 plus years in practice. My friends all call me Doc, and they come to me for advice about COVID. I tell them what I can, but I always refer them to you for the most up-to-date and reliable information.
Thank you so much for your work across your entire career. Your work has saved countless lives, both here in America and across the world. I cannot wait to see what the next generation of Americans do to save lives thanks to your inspiring work. So congratulations again on this year's Hearst Award. There's still work to be done during COVID, and I can't wait to follow your leadership.
We've learned much through the last year of this dreadful pandemic. But as a public sector leader, I value so much those who can offer people a trusted voice, a calm voice, a voice of guidance, of counsel, and yes, of hope. Dr. Fauci, thank you for being that trusted voice to a very grateful nation.
Dr. Fauci, this is Kit Doe, reporter at KPIX5. We share the same values of truth, driven by science and data. Thank you for all you've done for keeping our nation safe for decades, and congratulations on your award tonight.
Thank you and congratulations to Dr. Anthony Fauci for being this year's recipient of the Hearst Award. Your years of knowledge and the way that you use your wisdom and expertise to help guide America through this pandemic is the reason why I choose to trust your voice. Thank you for all that you've done and all you continue to do for us.
I would like to say to Dr. Fauci how much every time I saw him, he was an inspiration. I started out thinking that he was merely a tough little guy who was hanging in there and making his way. But the more I saw of him, the more courageous he got, the tougher he got, the way he stood his ground, so much that I came to believe that he in fact was the tallest man in that entire administration. I would like to thank you and congratulate you on your award as a Hearst winner. Thank you.
You are getting an award that carries the name of William Randolph Hearst. You know, in journalism, honesty and integrity are the cornerstones of what we do. And that's what you have brought to this nation throughout this pandemic, honesty and integrity. When we go to the doctor's office, you want the doctor to be honest with you and tell you what your ailments are, what the prognosis is, and what you need to do to get better. That's exactly, again, what you have done for this nation. You are an American treasure. You're an American patriot.
I can't stress enough how valuable your contribution has been, your leadership, your guidance, sticking with the facts, even when you don't know them. Thank you so much for what you've done and what you continue to do for us all.
Deep gratitude for the great amount of hard work that you have done to lead us through this incredible pandemic. You have served as a keen role model for all of us in the health professions. Thank you.
Thank you for being a prominent voice of reason this year in the media. Truth-seeking is essential in journalism. Myself, as well as my classmates, are very grateful to have you as a source of timely and accurate science communication during the COVID-19 pandemic.
I admire your intelligence, I admire your leadership and your logic, but most of all, I admire your honesty throughout this entire pandemic that we're all facing. My children, ages 15 and 12, consider you their American hero. Thank you so much for keeping them safe and healthy. Congratulations on this award.
Good evening, I'm Dan Rather. And first of all, I want to thank the Hearst Foundation and the San Jose State University School of Journalism for the privilege of taking part in this ceremony to honor the great Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci, congratulations. Your dedication, your unrelenting hard work, all during the COVID-19 pandemic, your courage and your absolute dedication to making sure that the American people got the information they needed, often amidst controversy and unpleasantness, will go down in the history of this period of our country. You are, and rightfully so, a legend in your own time. On behalf of myself and my family, and I think I can say so on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you, Dr. Fauci.
Congratulations, Dr. Fauci.
Congratulations.
Voices across America coming together with gratitude. Live from the virtual campus of San Jose State University in the heart of Silicon Valley, welcome to this time-honored celebration of the First Amendment rights of we the people and the free press in the United States. And we want to thank all of you for joining us for this very special occasion. This is the 2020 William Randolph Hearst Foundation Award ceremony by the School of Journalism and Mass Communications. I'm your host, journalism professor Bob Rucker, former school director and former CNN correspondent in San Francisco, where I first met Dr. Fauci many moons ago. Along with our current director, Dr. Phyllis West, and our colleagues, as well as all of our students, we are thrilled now to say those words. The man of the hour is here. Congratulations and welcome, Dr. Fauci.
Thank you, Professor Rucker, for that very kind introduction, and warm greetings to you all. It gives me great pleasure to join you virtually today at San Jose State. It is an extraordinary honor to be chosen by the faculty of the School of Journalism and Mass Communications to receive this William Randolph Hearst Award. And I thank you so much for this recognition. Knowing that great communicators have received this award before me, people I have long respected, such as Dan Rather and Jim Acosta, makes this day extra special for me. And to be honored by your great JMC school and to now be a small part of your long legacy of excellence is very meaningful to me. As you know, unlike Dan and Jim and your previous awardees, I am not a journalist or a communications specialist, but a physician scientist and a public health official. These are two very different career paths that have some common features. First, in my business, as in yours, you are never quite done. There is always more to learn and more questions to ask. Whether you are assessing a patient, conducting a lab experiment, meeting with public health leaders, or reading up to prepare for a media appearance. There are always more angles to cover and more follow-up questions. In our respective professions, we often have a subliminal feeling of unfinished business. This feeling, however, is not necessarily a negative, since it can be transformed into something productive and positive by spurring us to further action. It is always humbling and anxiety-causing to realize that you will never know as much as you want to or need to know. After all these years, this remains true for me as a physician and a scientist, and as a public health official, since the consequences of getting something wrong and not being aware of something that you should have known can be serious. This, of course, is also very true in journalism. The feeling that there is more to learn reminds us to dig in and read more, ask more and better questions, and most importantly, to listen to what people tell you. Only by really leaning in, reading, listening, questioning, can you begin to get to the point where you really understand the subject and can effectively communicate what you know to an audience. I've learned this over many years as a government official who has been called upon over 6 presidential administrations to communicate complex information and concepts to a wide range of audiences. This has been especially true with emergent infectious diseases. During my career at the National Institutes of Health, my colleagues and I have encountered many infectious outbreaks and epidemics, going back to the very early days of AIDS in 1981, through the anthrax attacks, SARS, pandemic flu, Ebola, Zika, and now COVID-19. The current pandemic of COVID-19 poses the biggest threat to global health in more than 100 years. The US pandemic recently has reached perilous heights, with the numbers of cases and hospitalizations tragically eclipsing all earlier records. My experience with COVID-19 has reinforced some key lessons about communications that I have learned over many outbreaks in the previous 4 decades. For me, these apply to all audiences, whether I'm speaking to the president or vice president, a senator or a congressman, a reporter or producer, scientific audiences, or the general public. Or for that matter, writing an article, a commentary, or even a research paper. First among these is fidelity to the truth. In the realm of science and public health, most all truths are revealed by science-based evidence and data. People need to hear the truth as it is, rather than as they might want it to be. Over time, truth-telling builds credibility. So we must always tell the truth, even if it means I just do not know. Consistency in truth-telling is critical because consistency maintains integrity. Second, transparency is key. From past disease outbreaks, we know that we earn public trust when we are open and honest and do not withhold information. We must make sure that everyone understands where we are going, what our goals are, and how we propose to achieve them. We must keep our eyes on our objectives, provide regular public updates, and lead by example. When we falter in transparency, some people understandably either stop believing what we say or just stop listening altogether. Third, in the realms of public health and journalism and related fields, or for that matter, most any other profession, we must communicate clearly to achieve understanding. Now, I am the product of 8 years of Jesuit education, and throughout my career, the Jesuit tenet of precision of thought and economy of expression has informed how I think, how I write, how I communicate with the public. We must use language that everyone can understand. And it is crucial today that we extend our skills and efforts to a broad spectrum of audiences via a variety of outlets, be it traditional media and social media, among others, through which people get their information. Now, putting all these principles into practice is essential to building public trust in science as the pathway to resolving the COVID-19 pandemic and ensuring that the fruits of our research, such as vaccines, have the greatest potential benefit. In this regard, we can be heartened by the rapid pace of scientific progress, including extremely encouraging data showing a high degree of efficacy for candidate COVID-19 vaccines in large-scale clinical trials. Never has a vaccine been developed in so short a time. Of course, a vaccine will not be, and certainly is not, a magic solution by itself. For some time, we still will need to adhere to simple public health measures, such as universal masking, physical distancing, and avoiding crowds, that we know these things work to stem virus spread. Getting the messages out about the value of proven low-tech COVID-19 prevention tools in clear, credible, and coherent ways will continue to be a communications challenge. Once COVID-19 vaccines are approved to deploy, which could be actually as early as the end of this year, there will be powerful tools for us now to help us protect the vulnerable and gradually help quell and eventually end the COVID-19 pandemic for everyone, and thus heal and restore our upended lives. Once again, we have formidable communication challenges ahead of us as we work to convey with honesty, transparency, and clarity the benefits of vaccination to sometimes very skeptical audiences. I imagine some of the JMC school students watching today will contribute important articles, radio and TV segments, and other communications products to these important issues. Some of you already have, I'm sure. So let me say again, how grateful I am to be so honored by San Jose State with the William Randolph Hearst Award. Please stay safe, keep well, and continue your important and outstanding work.
Thank you very much, Doctor. We appreciate that very much. If I may, I would like to tell everyone in just a moment, we're going to give you a proper welcome from our university president. But before I do that, I just want to ask you one follow-up question. As you know, the governor has already said that he's going to have to put the brakes on reopening the state. And we're looking at the concept of curfews. Is that something that you endorse? Is that something that you think should be done now?
You know, what I have learned, Professor Rucker, is that there are differences depending upon where you are and what the state of the outbreak is in your particular region, your state, your city, or what have you. It is certainly true that in other countries, curfews, for example, for people in general, curfews for bars closing at certain times, for restaurants closing at certain times, has actually helped. When you look at what happens as you get late into the evening, people let down their guard, people maybe drink a little bit too much, people get in congregate settings. You don't like to be very prescriptive, but sometimes when you're dealing with the seriousness of the situation right now, I leave it up to the good judgment of the leaders of your states and your cities to make that. But if they make that decision, I certainly think the basis upon which if it's sound, I would back that.
Very good. We'll have more Q&A with our distinguished guest in just a little bit. But right now it is time to bring in the president of this university. So we'll ask right now if Dr. Mary Papazian would say a few words.
Well, thank you, Bob. And Dr. Fauci, that was an incredibly diplomatic, though direct answer. So kudos to you. There's a reason we're honoring you here today. But let me just send you a big Spartan welcome to you across the miles and to all who have joined us on YouTube and on this Zoom presentation today. I'm so glad that you are all here to help us present this special award and celebrate an extraordinary guest of honor. Bob, I want to congratulate you and the faculty for selecting Dr. Fauci for this award. It was a bold and entirely appropriate selection. And I know that we all very much appreciated hearing from him just now and learning more about his life's work and experiences in the media during the pandemic. I know many of us have watched him many times over these last months. It is truly a coup for us to have someone of Dr. Fauci's stature here with us today. Some around the country might be surprised to learn that he's receiving an award from a prominent journalism school. But this program also has a global reputation for excellence in public relations and advertising in higher education. So it really does make sense when you stop and think about the unique and important role Dr. Fauci has played these past months, communicating such vital information to the American public. The fact that he has done so in the face of great stress, uncertainty, and pressure demonstrates a level of integrity and honesty that many of our public and political figures would be wise to emulate, and I know that our students have learned much from. As we all look forward to next week's Thanksgiving holiday, I think I can speak for millions of people around the country when I say we are all thankful to have had you with us throughout this global pandemic, helping us to understand this virus and explaining how we can best deal with it in a way that keeps us and our most loved ones safe. And I just urge all who are listening to heed Dr. Fauci's advice. Dr. Fauci, we know your time today is precious, and so we're honored that you're spending part of it with us, the most transformative university in the nation. Yes, you heard right, and you probably noticed this in the video clip earlier. Money Magazine gave us that distinction earlier this year, and I'm not shy about pointing it out. It is actually due to programs like our School of Journalism and Mass Communications that has helped us to earn this distinction. The school was founded way back in 1936 and remains the largest of its kind in Northern California. We are proud of its distinction as one of the top nationally accredited programs in the United States. Graduates of the school have been recognized around the globe for their innovative critical thinking, creativity, ethical and professional standards of performance, 21st century media skills, and leadership abilities. And the goal of the William Hearst Endowment for Visiting Professionals is to recognize for our students and those all across the nation, distinguished individuals like CNN's Chief White House Correspondent Jim Acosta in 2018, and documentarians Alex Shabano and his partner Dan Rather in 2019. They, along with many incredible past Hearst recipients, inspire generations of college students with their drive, determination, and professionalism based on ethical and responsible public service on all global media platforms. We are so delighted to have you with us today, Dr. Fauci, and I know everyone so much enjoyed hearing from you and looks forward to further Q&A. I'm happy now to turn things back over to Bob. Thank you again, and welcome everyone, and a special welcome to Dr. Fauci to San Jose State. And just remember, a virtual presence is close, but it's not all the way. So please know that you have an open invitation to come visit us when you're out west, when we can all travel again. So Bob, I turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you indeed, Madam President. And we will echo that sentiment a little bit later. And Doctor, please do me the honor of just calling me Bob. I like it when my students do it, and I would appreciate it if you would do the same.
Thank you. How about you call me Tony?
You got it.
Okay.
And listen, I've been told to make you smile, we should talk about baseball, but we got to get back to the ceremony.
Okay.
Okay? Earlier, we saw in our video the Chief Operating Officer of our city. He has some additional remarks and a special proclamation for Dr. Fauci. So here again is the Mayor of San Jose, California, our friend, the Honorable Sam Liccardo.
Dr. Fauci, I serve on the San Jose City Council with 10 of my colleagues. and I can tell you rarely do we agree on much of anything. But for this commendation, all 11 of us unanimously agreed to commend you, to thank you for your extraordinary service and leadership for our country. Thank you on behalf of the more than 1 million residents of the city of San Jose.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to the City Council for that historic recognition. You know, Dr. Fauci, we want to acknowledge and thank a mutual friend of ours and his company locally, Mr. Cameron Burks, Vice President of the Global Security of Adobe. He was part of the planning and creative efforts for this virtual ceremony. And his wonderful staff and the people of Adobe have been our partners for many years, and we hope to be doing more exciting things with them in the future. So please let me thank not only him, but also Jeff Jacobs, Tony Van Winkle, and of course, superstar editor Paul Wright for that wonderful opening they call a sizzle. We'll have to do more of those. Did that make you sizzle, Doctor?
Indeed.
I like that. I think we'll try that again sometime. We should also let you know the Zoom webinar event is being streamed now live on YouTube and on our San Jose State University website so that the nation and the world can witness what you have to say. In a little bit, we'll have a few more questions and interaction with our campus community and the doctor, but we know that many businesses and community leaders here and across the country would also like to express their individual thoughts about Dr. Fauci's good counsel this year. So we've invited many to send in videotape congratulations that we are now posting on our journalism school website. Doctor, we hope you'll take a look at those after our program. But certainly, here's a few we'd like you to see now.
I'm Renee Shimada Siegel, and I'm CEO of Connext. I'm also a proud graduate of San Jose State and now a part-time public relations professor here at my alma mater. What I'm teaching all of my students every day is that ethics is the foundation of what we do. Truth matters, credibility matters, facts matter. And Dr. Fauci, you matter so much to all of us. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your authenticity. And truly, on behalf of all of my communications colleagues here in Silicon Valley and at the university at San Jose State, thank you for being here today, sharing your time and your enthusiasm with us. We really appreciate it.
This is Rodney Knox, formerly Marketing and Communications Director at the San Francisco 49ers and at Nike. Dr. Fauci, just wanted to pass along our sincere appreciation for all the work that you've done, and particularly for the honesty and care you supported and showed for professional and amateur athletes throughout the country and the world for that matter. You are just a beacon of truth and honesty, and you really showed and expressed so much care for the athletic community, and we're very appreciative of your integrity and the honesty of your messaging.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fauci, and congratulations on this award. I'm Sarah Cody, the health officer in Santa Clara County, and it's lovely to have you back in San Jose again, albeit virtually once again. I want to say on behalf of local health officers across the country how much we truly appreciate you, and we watch how you communicate with the public, and we try to emulate all of your wonderful qualities. You're always so forthright, direct, clear, calm, and so very consistent. Thank you so much, and big hearty congratulations on an award so well deserved.
You too have to be the busiest health professionals in the United States right now, but she really wanted to be a part of this program to congratulate you, Doctor. So thank you for listening to that.
Thank you. Thank you for showing it.
Now today we proudly present this beautiful trophy to a hardworking young man at heart from Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, who decided to take the Hippocratic Oath to do no harm and to help others. His unparalleled commitment to science, public health, and saving human lives would be documented over more than 40 years of extraordinary service to his country. Now, here's my sense of humor. It would be his tireless moonlighting in professional media that would reassure and calm millions of people across generations and secure his legacy in American history. When the nation is threatened by a mysterious disease, this widely respected and admired medical doctor became our ever-present rock we could count on to tell us the truth. During this seemingly endless year of COVID-19, related restrictions and sheltering for safety, most people still, on a daily basis, want to know and need to know what this man has to say. So the inspiration here on your trophy reflects a quiet national sentiment in just 4 words. It's reminiscent of the days not too long ago when Americans counted on that singular, powerful voice of Walter Cronkite of CBS News. And like him, in the year 2020, this distinguished gentleman of medicine would consistently present the facts, tell it to us straight, and then believe that we, the people, could handle the truth and do what's right. As a result, our honoree today continues to command the national surveys and the highest level of attention and respect for being the most trusted voice during the COVID-19 pandemic. So ladies and gentlemen in our audience and people all around the world who are going to be looking at this later on YouTube, on behalf of the William Randolph Hearst Foundation and the faculty in the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, we are proud to award this great honor with heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Anthony Fauci. Doctor, you mean that much to all of us.
Thank you so much, Bob. I really appreciate that. I'm very, very humbled by this honor. I truly am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Let me ask you a few questions and we'll bring in some other guests in a moment to do the same. What was the moment in your life when medicine and communications started to run parallel? Because most people study one or the other. You put them together. Tell us how you got to that.
Well, I believe, Bob, that it was in the very early years of the HIV epidemic, the outbreak that occurred to our recognition in 1981, when the first 5 cases were reported from Los Angeles of curiously gay men who had otherwise been well, who developed a strange syndrome of opportunistic diseases. And then a month later, in July of 1981, 26 gay men from the Bay Area, Los Angeles, and New York also developed this strange syndrome. It was a mystery. It was frightening to the population, particularly and almost exclusively among men who have sex with men, who saw this extraordinary disease killing their friends and their colleagues and their lovers. There was such confusion and misunderstanding that I felt naturally I needed to get the facts as we knew them and the evidence as we knew it out to the public to avoid misconstruing, misrepresentation, added stigma. I was very impressed by the stigma that beset the men who have sex with men, particularly in the Bay Area and Los Angeles and New York City, but then throughout the country. So I just felt it was my responsibility during this time of uncertainty and lack of clarity and evolving situation that the general public needed to know the facts rather than some of the extraordinary, sometimes hysterical information that got out. And I realized that that was as important in many respects as the actual scientific work that I was doing in developing drugs that would ultimately suppress the virus, or diagnostics that would help us, or understanding the pathogenesis. So it became part of essentially my identity. It wasn't 2 separate things. It was part of what I did.
Well, you certainly did it very well. I remember as a correspondent in San Francisco, we would go to press conferences and we would know you were coming in from Washington, and people would say, all right, we're going to get a serious conversation about this. But some of the more firebrand conversations came with someone who became a close friend of yours, Larry Kramer. Could you talk a little bit about your relationship, the rocky road to the great buddy?
Well, Larry Kramer was an iconic figure in activism. He was an extremely passionate person who felt correctly that the government, the United States government, was not paying enough attention to this evolving plague among predominantly men who have sex with men. He looked upon himself as the guardian of that demographic group, as the godfather of them. And he was very concerned that not only was not enough attention paid, but that the activists did not have any say in what was going on that would influence their lives, which was at great risk for this unknown, horrible thing that was spreading through the community. I, because of what you said, was communicating as one of the only government officials who felt comfortable openly speaking about this extraordinary disease. Even before it had a full name, it was called GRID, or gay-related immunodeficiency. And even before the virus was fully understood as the cause of HIV, as the cause of AIDS. And I became the face of the federal government. So when Larry wanted to gain the attention of the government, he tried to get attention and no one paid attention to them. There was a lot of stigma associated with the then disenfranchisement of the gay community. So as I was out there trying to talk about it and get an understanding of it, being the face of the federal government, he felt, I need to get the attention of the federal government. So he decided to become extraordinarily confrontative, iconoclastic, and got my attention with an extraordinary article he wrote in the late 80s.
Yes.
The San Francisco Examiner, front page magazine section, said, I call you a murderer, an open letter to an incompetent idiot, Dr. Anthony Fauci.
I remember.
Well, I could say he actually did get my attention. So what I did at that point was, I think I don't know what it was. I called down deep inside me to the empathy I think I learned from my parents, and likely a lot from my Jesuit education as a young man in high school in New York City and in college. And I said, everyone is running away from the activists because they were not getting attention. So they became more and more provocative, more and more theatrical, more and more iconoclastic. And everybody pulled back. And I just woke up one day and said, you know, I just feel such a connection and an empathy with these people. Most of them were from the city, from New York City, Greenwich Village, which I love so much because I was born and raised in Greenwich Village. In fact, my mother and father were born in Little Italy near Greenwich Village. So I said, let me put aside the theatrics and listen to what they were saying. And it was astounding to me because what they were saying made perfect sense. And I felt if I were in their shoes, I would do exactly what they were doing. So after literally months, if not years, of being rejected by anyone in authority, in the scientific community or in the regulatory community, I decided that I was going to not only listen, I was going to invite them in. So they were there to make some demonstration and wanted to get arrested and whatever at the NIH. And I told the police, I said, why don't you go down there and don't arrest anybody, but get 4 or 5 of their leaders and bring them up to talk to me. When Larry heard about that, all of a sudden he said, well, maybe this guy isn't such a living devil as I think he is. And then we started to communicate. The more we communicated, the better we got to know each other. And we realized that we were on the same wavelength. We wanted the same thing. And it went from severe adversary to adversary with a little connection, to acquaintances, to friends. I became one of his physicians to take care of him. I took care of him at the NIH, to become really, really close, as I did with many of the activists who he referred to as his children, because they learned from the godfather of activism, which was Larry Kramer, and from the confrontative relationship we had in the 80s to his recent death, when we became friends and we ended our phone calls by saying, "I love you, Larry," or "I love you, Tony."
Simply beautiful. And that's a lesson for our times right now, as we try to mend fences and come back together as a people. There's a question from a student in my diversity in media class about vaccines. Doctor, let's take a listen.
Hello, my name is Christian Moreno. I'm a public relations major at San Jose State, and I currently live in Torrance, California. My question for you, doctor, is when a COVID-19 vaccine is ready, how do you get the American people to trust in such a fast-track vaccine? And when do we know when this vaccine is safe and effective?
That is a great question that so many people are asking. I think we need to be honest and transparent and explain to the public what the process is of determining that a vaccine is safe and effective. It's been done very quickly, but the speed is a reflection of the extraordinary advances in scientific technology that allows you to go from the genetic sequence of a virus into what we call a vaccine platform, and within a period of literally days to weeks to get a vaccine that you could put in a phase 1 study in humans. We've done this the fastest that has ever been done in history. It's a reflection of two things. A, the scientific advances and the exquisite technologies. B, an enormous investment of financial resources on the part of the federal government to get these vaccine companies to take the product and put them into clinical trial. I must say, the public needs to understand that the decisions that were recently made last Monday and yesterday about 2 vaccines that have an extraordinary degree of efficacy, 94.5% in one and close to 95% in the other. The decision about that and getting the study to say it is now effective was made by an independent body, not beholden to the administration, not beholden to the company, not beholden to anyone. It was called a Data and Safety Monitoring Board of independent clinicians, vaccinologists, statisticians, ethicists, and others. They did it independently. They then take that data, present it to me, which they did on Sunday afternoon, just a couple of days ago, and then we went from there to the company and to the rest of other elements of the government. The data then go to the FDA, to career scientists who have no political obligation to anyone. Then they go to an independent advisory committee, which then looks at the data. And only then, when everyone agrees, does it get what's called an emergency use authorization to be administered to people. Now, what I think the general public doesn't understand, because quite frankly, and it's correct, you're observing it from out in the West Coast, but it is. There are mixed messages that come out. There's confusion. Who's saying what about what? But what really is happening is this independent process that is looked at by people with no skin in the game, financially or otherwise. I see the data. I get reported the data to me. The FDA sees the data. Soon it will be published where the entire community will see the data. And I can tell you, I'm confident that when the FDA approves those vaccines, and so far there's been 2 that have been really quite effective, efficacious, and there will be more, that I would, without hesitation, take the vaccine and suggest strongly to my family to also take the vaccine.
And I believe that's what the country's been wanting to hear. You heard one of my former students in Chicago say that as well. Doctor, we did something I hope you won't mind, but we swore your staff to secrecy because we have a little bit of a surprise for you. 2 of my colleagues on the faculty will explain what we're going to do with an endowed scholarship.
Oh my goodness.
Most Americans have stepped up to the responsibility this year of getting good medical advice and staying informed during the pandemic. Some students now say they want to create their own communications bridge between medicine and the media in order to meet the future health crises. Our school director, Dr. Phyllis West, and our faculty have decided to use the Hearst Foundation Award honorarium this year to create a new School of Journalism and Mass Communications, Dr. Anthony Fauci Scholarship in Health Journalism. The goal is to attract top students with strong interest in health sciences and mass communications. We plan to guide them with you in mind and create a program that will give them the skills to seek and defend the truth, just like you've been doing during this pandemic and in your career.
That coursework will create a learning opportunity with unique stepping stones and offer insights and understanding about the ethics and responsibilities in both science and crisis communications. The dean and faculty in our school have begun discussions with the dean and faculty in the San Jose State College of Health and Human Services, focused on identifying the right curriculum mix. Now, given your example, we're excited about breaking new ground together and learning the highest of standards you demonstrate every single day. As we work out the details and launch this effort, we welcome your input along the way and a future visit to campus to check on our progress.
Millions of people across this country know Dr. Anthony Fauci is the role model for an academic enterprise designed to be flexible and effective as a public service. The business community in Silicon Valley and foundations nationwide will also be invited to join us and support one of our top priorities, to always provide opportunities for people from diverse cultural identities with unique skills and life experiences so that they can break new ground for their futures and their communities.
This new scholarship and academic study in your honor and your name will also proclaim to the world that San Jose State University is committed to forever keeping alive the values, practices, and extraordinary public service that you, Dr. Anthony Fauci, have pioneered throughout your remarkable career. You will always be remembered for this.
And we wouldn't want to have it any other way, Doctor. You're talking to a former medical correspondent. You're also talking to a Catholic schoolboy from Chicago. So I'll work with you on the Jesuit thing, but I guarantee you we'd love to work with you on this.
Well, thank you so much, Bob. This is such a great honor. Thank you very much. I'm really very moved by this. I really sincerely, that is the truth. Thank you so much.
Well, when we went to a faculty meeting in April to start looking at who this award might go to this year, I had just come back from surgery, hip surgery, and I said to him, I've been watching the news like crazy, and there's one guy that I know that's coming in every news operation, and he's calming the nerves of people like myself and others, and that was you. Last question, what's it like for you? We see you getting beaten up sometimes, and we want to jump in there and help you. What's going on?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, but don't get involved in that, Bob. It's not worth it. But one of the things that I've taught myself over the years is that you have to focus like a laser beam on what your mission and your goal is. And for me, as a physician scientist and a public health person, that my goal is the safety and the health of the American public, and by extrapolation, the rest of the world. When you get criticism and you get threats, I mean, it's just extraordinary what we're going through now, because I give a public health measure and some people threaten my life and harass my family. I never imagined in a million years that the delivery of a public health measure would be reflective of such a divisiveness in society, that some people would react with that with threats. I think that just tells us something. So I made a decision. That's all noise. I focus on my goal. That's noise. I don't pay any attention to it. So thank you for trying to rush in there and help me, but I'm okay.
Hey, I'm still brawny. I can do something.
I know you're a bigger guy than I am.
My last thought is this. We've enjoyed having you here today. You are always welcome at San Jose State University. And I would say one more thing. Giant fans and A's fans, yes, we'll take them to a game against the Nationals, but I'd like to meet you at Wrigley Field sometime, sir.
Okay, very good. Let's do that. And I will take you up on that offer. I've heard so much about how beautiful your campus is and what a wonderful place it is. As soon as we can travel, I have a daughter who lives in San Francisco, so I may get out there, hopefully within a reasonable period of time. I'll drop by and say hi to you guys. Thank you.
And to be fair, on the other side of Chicago, White Sox fans are saying, take him to the World Series. We'll be there soon.
Hold your breath.
Well, Doctor, we want to thank you for your time. Your staff has been wonderful. Please tell Patricia and all the people that we've been working with, we look forward to staying in touch, and we look forward to having you out and visit us again.
Thank you very much, Bob. Thank you very much, Madam President. I appreciate it. Madam
President, any final thoughts?
I was just trying to unmute to see if I could. No, just it's truly an honor, Dr. Fauci. What a service you've provided to all of us, and we look forward to following you and taking that vaccine so we can all get back to normal. So thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. And I'll just wrap it up by saying the closing comments are very straightforward. You've had our back. We've got yours. The next time you get beaten up, just remember we're out here too. And we're saying, go, doctor, go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, doctor. Have a good holiday ahead. Be safe. My best to you, and happy birthday next month.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Come on out and see us.
Will do. Thanks.
We thank all of the people from the Hearst Foundation, including Dino Dinovitz, who's in our audience today, who's the executive director. And we thank everyone who decided to take time to meet our special guest. We hope everyone stays safe, and we look forward to seeing you again next year for the William Randolph Hearst Foundation Award. Thank you, and good night.
On behalf of Adobe's over 22,000 employees around the world, and as a private citizen, I want to thank you, Dr. Fauci, for your steady hand and your voice of truth in leading us during this time. Congratulations on receiving the Hearst Award.
I'm California State Assembly member Ash Kalra, and it is my great honor to join San Jose State University's School of Journalism and Mass Communications today in congratulating Dr. Anthony Fauci for being the recipient of this year's esteemed William Randolph Hearst Foundation Award for Excellence. This national award is reserved for those who have provided inspiration and expert guidance in professional communities based on ethical and responsible public service through the media. And it is without a doubt that Dr. Fauci's leadership and dedication to the health and well-being of people everywhere has saved countless lives, not just here in California, but across the entire country.
Dr. Fauci has been a guiding light for so many throughout this pandemic, that the acknowledgement that you're giving him is well-deserved. And not only to acknowledge Dr. Fauci's leadership, but to teach all of us that speaking truth over and over again, using science, using facts, really holding to that which we know is true in our effort to save lives and improve the place we live, work, play, and worship, this beautiful country, can't be done without leadership. And that leadership is something that each generation will need to adopt for themselves. So cheers to Dr. Fauci for being not only a truthful voice, but a role model for generations to come. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dennis Ackerman, and I'm a producer for a 60-minute magazine-style show called LA Times Today. and a very proud San Jose State graduate. Congratulations, Dr. Fauci, on being named this year's winner of the William Randolph Hearst Award. And thank you for being a voice the public can count on in a time of so much uncertainty and misinformation. Since the beginning of this pandemic, you have been communicating to the public with consistent, reliable information. We are a divided nation on so many fronts. And while we continue to navigate through COVID-19, you are someone we can trust and hopefully bring us together. Once again, congratulations. It's well deserved.
I'm Isabel Sanchez. I'm a first-year graduate student in San Jose State's Master's in Mass Communications program. And the reason that I think that Dr. Fauci is America's #1 trusted voice this year is because throughout his many years of serving as America's doctor, his loyalty towards protecting American citizens has never wavered. His dedication to finding solutions and not letting outside influences distract him are also another reason why I feel that he is America's doctor and why we trust him so much.
Hi, Dr. Fauci. My name is Ray, and I'd like to thank you for the tremendous work you've done regarding the COVID pandemic. Your actions have not only saved thousands, if not millions of lives here in the United States. Please keep doing what you're doing, sir. Your country needs you.
Hi, Dr. Fauci. My name is Brianna Corona, and I'm a public relations major here at San Jose State University. And I just wanted to say congratulations on receiving the Hearst Journalism Award. You are a very trusted voice during this time as you've worked extremely hard to keep the public informed and safe and given us guidance on how to limit the spread of COVID-19. Congratulations again, and thank you so much for being here.
Dr. Fauci, congratulations on receiving the Hearst Award. I'm thankful for your invaluable input on the matter of COVID-19 and your genuine effort to keep the American people informed. Despite the mixed messages early on, I know you have done everything in your power to keep America safe and knowledgeable about this threat. Your intentions are noble and your work is appreciated. Again, congratulations on this accomplishment.
Hi, Dr. Fauci. My name is Ariana Hernandez, and I'm from San Jose. I'm a graphic design major, and I wanted to thank you and congratulate you for being such a great communicator for health during this pandemic.
Hi, Dr. Fauci. My name is Lester Penneringen, and I just want to applaud you for the tremendous amount of work that you put in. This pandemic has been tough on all of us, and I thank you for your efforts when it comes to keeping all of us safe. Hope you're doing well and staying sane. I know you got a tough job, but you and your fellow doctors are making great progress, and I know that. Again, congratulations on your award, and keep up the great work. I know you'll get us through this, and thank you.
Hi, my name is Noah. I am a graduate student, and I wanted to just say thank you, Dr. Fauci, for the work you've done in attempting to keep us all safe, doing your best there. All the work you've done in communicating about the virus, I really admire your professionalism and your steadfastness in all that you do.